Hi, I'm Vanessa Nelson, and I want to share with you today how to do EFT tapping. The first thing you're going to do is start by choosing an issue, and either it's something that you know you want to work on, or it's something that comes up in the moment because of something that happened in your environment. So we call that a trigger. So if you have something that spikes your emotion, you get really angry or really sad all of a sudden, then that's something that needs to be processed and released. So choose your issue, and then as you sit down and you prepare to work with it, notice what feelings come up about it whenever you think about it. So if you're experiencing anger or sadness or frustration or whatever feeling you may be experiencing, notice it and then identify, where is it in your body? Are you carrying it in your stomach, or is it putting pressure in your head? Any bodily sensations, notice those, and any distinguishing characteristics you can identify about it. Sometimes people will experience these emotions as a color or a shape or a cloud or something along those lines. So see if you notice anything that you can attach as kind of a multidimensional experience of this emotion that helps you kind of quantify it in your mind. And then, speaking of quantifying it, give it a number of from like 0 to 10 of how intense that particular feeling is for you. So 0 being there actually isn't an emotion, which at the beginning you wouldn't even mention anything that's got a 0. And 10 being that it's really supercharged and very upsetting to you. And then also examine, once you've got that emotion written down and you go back to thinking about the situation that's upsetting you, examine, do you have more feelings about it? Sometimes we can experience multiple feelings about the same thing. And so you might have anger and sadness, or you might have frustration and tiredness. That's a tricky one. Tiredness can be an emotion that you're feeling. So then you're going to move into the tapping. And we start tapping by tapping on the karate chop point of our hand. So if we were to karate chop something, it's where we would come into contact with whatever we're chopping. And we use our dominant hand to tap on the non-dominant hand. And you'll use the fingertips of your 4 fingers of your other hand and just tap on that spot right there. You talk about what's bothering you. So I have this issue and it's bugging me. And then you affirm your ability to heal and process through it. So you may say something like, even though I have this issue, I am willing to do the work to release it. Or even though I have this issue, I love myself anyway. Basically acknowledging something that you've got control of, so that it doesn't feel overwhelming to go into it and address it in more detail. So once you've done this, you repeat that phrase 3 times. Now, if your emotion is really spiked and you're really upset, you might be able to skip that particular step, because this step helps to kind of focus the mind to get into that emotion. But if you're already spiked, go ahead and start on in on the tapping. The first spot to tap is the crown of the head, just a little bit behind the top of your head. And I use 4 fingers usually to tap there. The second spot is the inside corner of the eyebrow. And you can tap with both hands and do them down the sides and like each side of the body. Or you can cross over if you want to. You can use one hand on opposite sides or one hand on the same side. It's all up to you, whatever feels right to you. You may find that you release more though when you work on both sides of the body at the same time. And then the third spot is the outside corner of the eye. You can see just like in the very corner of the eye socket there. And then the next spot is under the eye. Now there's a little notch in your bone under the eye. If you tap right there, that's where you want to be. Don't tap in your eye. You can see I'm not actually in it. I'm below it. This is tricky if you're crying, but it's definitely a good one to hit. This one actually clears a lot of fear-based issues. The next spot is under the nose above the lip. So right here. And then in the little crease between the lip and the chin, that's your next spot. Now, because these are center of the face, some people when tapping, and I do this too, can actually get both of those spots at the same time. And you notice I'm a little bit off on my rhythm. You don't want to tap on it at the same time. It just helps to have a little bit of a difference in the rhythm between the two. The next spot is your collarbone, and it's about where you would knot a tie if you were wearing one, and then go over about 2 inches. And just, there should be some tenderness right underneath the collarbone there. If you tap on that spot with a couple of fingers on the collarbone, and a couple in that tender spot underneath, that can be very effective. And then the next spot is under the arm. So if you place your palm in your armpit, right where your pinky comes down to, that's where you want to be. So you'll tap either by crossing over your body or with the same arm, and either way is perfectly fine. So you'll go crown, inside corner of the eyebrow, outside corner of the eye, under the nose, under the lip, collarbone, under the arm. Those are the primary tapping points. And then after you've gone through each point once or twice, you'll revisit your emotions and reassess how intense each of them are, and try to mark down the number as it moves so that you know that you've made progress. Because an interesting thing is people that are working through tapping, if they release things so significantly, sometimes they forget they were even bothered by whatever it was they were working on in the beginning, and they don't realize that they've actually done good work and successfully released something. So keep track and revisit frequently. And whenever those emotions come down to an intensity of a 1 or a 2, usually you're pretty good, but if you can get it down to a 0, go ahead and do that. If it gets stuck, then chances are there's more to the emotion than you realized. So start talking out the scenario to yourself while you continue tapping, and you might just stumble across that hidden block. Good luck. Thank you.